In the biblical 7 species of the land of Israel, wheat often takes the spotlight. But right beside it stands its hardier, humbler cousin, barley, or seorah. Listed in Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 8, as a primary blessing of the Promised Land, barley was the grain that ensured survival when others failed. While wheat was the grain of luxury, barley was the grain of the people, a symbol of modesty, resilience, and the first sign of hope each spring. Barley is one of the oldest domesticated crops in the world. Archaeological evidence shows wild barley was being gathered near the Sea of Galilee. By the 9th millennium BCE, it was fully domesticated in the Jordan River Valley. Excavations at Jericho and Netiv Hagdud have uncovered barley remains, proving it was a foundation of the very first settled civilizations. In the biblical social hierarchy, barley held a specific place. It was the staple of the poor and the commoner. Because it was resilient, tolerated poor soil, and didn't need artificial irrigation, it was cheaper and more widely available than wheat. In the New Testament, when Jesus performs the feeding of the 5,000, the boy brings 5 small barley loaves, the typical lunch of a humble working-class child, John chapter 6, verse 9. It was also a primary fodder for livestock, particularly horses and donkeys, which were essential for transportation and agriculture. Barley was incredibly versatile in the ancient kitchen. Barley flour was mixed with water and salt to bake flat, unleavened loaves. While wine was common, barley was the key ingredient for ancient beer, or shecher, a staple drink in the wider Near East. Parched grain, or kali. Kernels were roasted over an open fire, making a portable, long-lasting snack for soldiers and harvesters. This is the roasted grain Boaz gave to Ruth in the fields. Ruth chapter 2, verse 14. Porridge. Ground barley was often boiled into thick gruels or soups, or maraq, sometimes enriched with lentils or chickpeas. Barley was the first grain to ripen in the spring. This timing gave it a sacred role, the Omer offering. On the second day of Passover, a measure of barley flour from the new harvest was offered in the temple, Leviticus chapter 23, verses 10 to 14. Until this offering was made, no one was permitted to eat the new crop. Because it ripened a full month before wheat, barley provided food security, replenishing the supplies that had dwindled over the winter. Ancient Israelites derived 50 to 70% of their daily calories from grains like barley. 100 grams of barley provides approximately 320 calories. It is a powerhouse of dietary fiber, starch, and essential minerals like magnesium and iron. In Jewish tradition, barley represents gevorah, or restraint and boundaries, teaching that even greatness begins with simple, disciplined steps. Ancient Israelites derived 50 to 70% of their daily calories from grains like barley. 100 grams of barley provides approximately 320 calories. It is a powerhouse of dietary fiber, starch, and essential minerals like magnesium and iron. In Jewish tradition, barley represents gevorah, or restraint and boundaries, teaching that even greatness begins with simple, disciplined steps. How does the barley of the Bible differ from today? Ancient farmers in the Roman period might harvest only 80 to 150 kilograms per dunam, or 1,000 square meters. Modern agriculture, through selective breeding and technology, yields over 400 kilograms in the same area. Ancient flour was stone ground, often containing basalt grit that caused significant dental wear in ancient populations. Modern milling is perfectly clean. Today, barley is largely relegated to livestock feed and brewing. In biblical times, it was the bread of life for millions. Just like 3,000 years ago, barley remains one of the most drought-resistant grains, still vital for farming in semi-arid regions. Barley teaches us that there is strength in simplicity. It was the grain of the widow Ruth, the grain of the boy with the 5 loaves, and the grain that marked the firstfruits of God's provision each spring. As we see in the story of Ruth, barley season is a season of loyalty, kindness, and destiny. The next time you see barley, remember it isn't just a cereal. It's a living witness to thousands of years of biblical history and a reminder that God provides for even the humblest among us. Like and subscribe for more deep dives into the archaeology of the Bible.